Welcome to the historic Carolina Theater in downtown Greensboro, North Carolina. For nearly a century, this iconic venue has welcomed legendary performers, inspired audiences through the community theater of Greensboro Productions, and stood as a cultural cornerstone of the city. Its story extends beyond entertainment. During the Civil Rights Movement, the Carolina Theater became one of Greensboro's first downtown businesses to desegregate, reflecting a pivotal moment in the city's history. Let's step inside and explore the stories that have taken center stage for generations. And also, don't forget to subscribe and share, and consider becoming a member. Peace. All right, what's up, ladies? How you doing?
Great, thanks. How are
Frederick.
you? Brenda.
All right, Brenda, thank you.
Shelby.
Shelby. And you all, I've been talking with them on Instagram. So I was supposed to do another collaboration today, and unfortunately they got rescheduled, but it's all good because we're still here, and we're here early at 10 a.m. versus 1 p.m., which we were originally supposed to meet. But the Carolina Theater, October 1927, Halloween night.
Opening night.
That was opening night.
Yes.
Before we get started on anything as relates to that night, was there anything in particular that kind of stood out? Any strange stories or anything like that accompanies that?
There are a couple. There's one where they were supposed to open the doors at 7 or 7:30 or whatever time it was, and they had to delay that because in the auditorium, which you'll see later, there's a huge chandelier, and it cranks up by hand. And they were still cranking the chandelier up.
Okay.
And they had to hold the door so that the audience could come in with the chandelier fully extended.
Yeah.
And it takes like, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes to hand crank it up. So
really?
that was a little delay.
I can't wait to see it.
Is
it still in there?
You see it. Yeah, it's what, 10 feet tall?
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, I've heard that it's like 7 feet inside. You have to step inside of it in order to replace a light bulb. And they have to crank it down to the balcony in order for somebody to step inside to replace a light bulb, which happens every like 10 to 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And the
Nice.
mayor of Greensboro at that time, I can't remember his name. I'll get it for you.
Okay.
Got the first ticket, and his wife saved it, and we now have it in our archives.
Okay.
The first ticket from that night. So
Nice.
that was kind of fun.
That's what's up. So this is the crown entrance. What does that mean?
The Crown is our third floor black box space, and it's a flexible space that you can use for concerts, weddings, meetings.
Okay.
And it's kind of an industrial feel.
Okay. Good stuff.
Kind of fun.
So y'all ready to get rocking and rolling?
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. Where
So
we headed?
we're going to go around the corner.
Okay.
So that the entrance here was part of the. There's a corner entrance that was for the segregated balcony.
Okay.
And so there's an entrance back there that has been covered up, and around the corner is another entrance that is we're going to look at.
Is this one of the oldest buildings in downtown Greensboro from a business standpoint?
It's not.
It's not.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
So the Lincoln Financial Building, the great big tall one, was built a couple years before us.
Okay.
In fact, we have a photo of this building under construction where you can see the Lincoln Building in the background.
Okay.
There are a lot of downtown. Greensboro itself was 18 snap? I'm going to forget the year.
It'll come back.
It'll come back to me.
It'll come back to you.
So this was entrance to the segregated balcony.
Okay.
This building was not here, and this building was not here. And so it's just a grassy area here. And there was a marquee on the top that said colored entrance. Right now, if we go through those doors, which we can, it's just a small storage area. We hope in our centennial year that we can convene a committee to kind of help remember this space in the proper way.
It looks like it's a lot of opportunity in this space right here with this breezeway that leads up to it. You know what I'm saying?
There really is. We have a great partner here. There's a business next door that has a coffee shop, and they've put out the benches, and they want to work with us to kind of spruce this up and honor the memory.
Any plans for maybe a historical marker that could sit right here?
We
on
would
the,
love that, yes.
Sidewalk or anything like that?
There are a lot of rules, of course, about public historic markers. We can always put one back here on our property.
Sure.
But if there could be something out here or a plaque on the wall or something, that would be awesome.
I love that the light bulbs are still there.
Yeah. So on this wooden marquee overhang is original.
So this right here would be original.
Yeah.
And so it said colored, so there was obviously something else that,
There was
from a signage standpoint.
Signage standpoint above it that said colored entrance.
Have you all did any oral histories with folks that used to attend this theater that could talk about those times?
We have some on video, and we can definitely check to see if they're still available if you're
Yeah.
interested in that.
We have an 85th documentary when we celebrated our 85th anniversary that has it has 1 or 2 interviews in that as well, sharing some experiences from the segregated times.
And one of our staff members, her mother, came through this entrance and remembers it well.
Okay.
And I'm sure she would be willing to talk to.
Sure. So we're headed in.
So I'm kind of, sad that this is turned into a storage area, but
Yeah.
that is.
Oh wow.
Can you, let's see, I don't know if this door will open. There you go. And if you can get
Yeah.
right in there, see the beautiful floor.
Yeah, I do see that.
There's a light switch there, I just can't reach it.
Yeah, I can reach it. Oh. And it works. All right. So this would be so they would come in
They would
through
come
here.
in. My understanding is that there was a stairwell straight ahead that went up, and then there was a landing, and it turned back around. So it went up to the 3rd floor. No exit on the 2nd floor at all.
Also, no interactions with white folks.
None.
You went straight to the 3rd floor.
Straight to the 3rd floor.
I like this.
That was funny. I've never seen that.
Please do not put your butts. I got you. All right.
Shelby, have you seen the picture of the guys changing out the light bulbs in the chandelier? It's in the office. I'll show it to you. So,
Yeah, so welcome into the lobby. This has been renovated just a few times. As soon as you come in, you can tell there's these arches that welcome you into the auditorium. Those are renovated, I believe, twice since the opening. And during the last renovations, we put up this Setting the Stage capital campaign wall that you see from all of our donors that helped with majority of the most recent renovations of the theater, which was back in 2018.
Okay.
So this is where all the magic happens.
So, from a historical perspective, when we're talking 1927, what was the form of entertainment, perhaps, if you know, in Greensboro prior to that?
Yeah, so when the theater opened, speakers did not exist. So you didn't have movie showings or live music showing the same way that we do now. And essentially, some of the first programs that we had were movies. But before you had speakers, they had pipe organs.
For sure.
So they started off using the Robert, I don't want to get this wrong.
That's okay.
I believe it's
If Robert is correct,
Robert
then we
Morgan.
can roll with, we can
I
just
think
roll
it's
with
Robert Morgan pipe organ.
Okay,
I want to
okay.
say that right. But we still have the original pipe organ.
Okay, nice.
And so what we do now is with our silent film series, we bring back some of the original movies that were in the theater in the opening.
And how many seats are in there?
1,200.
1,200.
When the theater opened, it was 2,200 seats.
Wow.
And with a couple renovations, the seats have been changed. I will show you our original seats from 1927. We have those up in the curated display area.
Okay.
But these are our most recent renovation of seats.
How important do you feel this theater is to the community of Greensboro, North Carolina? And then also not just the community of Greensboro, but the state of North Carolina. I mean, 1927 is fairly early, right?
Yeah, I think theaters are a source of joy for the community, and I think that was the intention when they were built as well. In the foreword for the theater, one of my favorite quotes that I've found is basically that we will deem it successful if people find joy here and find just a little bit of happiness in this space.
Okay.
And in the 20s, you see so many theaters popping up across the Carolinas, especially in downtowns.
Yeah.
And I think there's a reason for that. People were wanting joy. They
sure.
wanted entertainment. You know,
Yeah.
they wanted the arts and they craved that. And I don't think it's that much different 99 years later, that people still crave the arts. They crave that community. You know, with entertainment, it's more than just seeing something on a stage, it's seeing it next to somebody.
I think that that museums, that theaters and things like that, it's part of our collectivism.
Yeah.
That, you know, if there's one thing that we may have in common, in which we really have way more than what, you know, than what's led to believe, just because of various different ideologies, of course. But these are places and are somewhat sanctuaries that allow us to just kind of be your true, authentic self and just recognize, hey, we're here for one common goal, and that's to be entertained, but also, of course, be enlightened and, of course, educated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I've always felt like arts is a way to revitalize towns that may have been run down, dilapidated buildings, and so forth and so on. And this establishment proves that it's still part of what that thesis is.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. My background is in political science and history, and city planning and seeing the development of cities over time is so interesting to me. And the history of theaters is a huge part of that.
Yeah.
And the development of theaters and also the maintenance. I mean, the fact that this theater has stayed and evolved for 99 years with the community is incredibly telling of what people want here. And I think that in a day and age with entertainment being so accessible on our phones, that there's a very different experience when you're laughing sitting next to your neighbors and next to strangers than when you're sitting by yourself doing it.
For sure.
And I think that people crave that type of connection that they don't even realize that you can have when you're laughing next to a stranger in a comedy show, or super focused in watching a ballet, and next to you is somebody that you went to the grocery store with or something like that.
I
So
agree.
yeah, it's evolved with the community, but it's beautiful to see it still here.
Yeah.
So most of the auditorium is not changed quite as much as other parts of the theater. Other people could argue that with me as well when it comes to the seats have changed and some smaller adjustments, but the overall architecture is pretty much the same as 1927.
Yeah. Anything in newspapers and things like that that kind of stand out, dating back to the time period in 1927 that you all were able to identify?
We are still trying to find the exact lineup of movies and programs shown from the opening of the theater. We currently have a few of the opening movies during that Halloween weekend, but we're looking for as many first-person sources and articles about programming from the 20s and 30s. And so, yeah, if anybody else has any resources, we'd love to have access to them so we can memorialize them and add them to our own archives. But yeah, some of the retellings of what Brenda brought up with the chandelier, that was something brought up in the news. And the opening night program was also brought up in the newspaper, I believe.
Okay.
And we still have that on our history page on our website. You can see some images of the timeline of the theater as well and see that opening forward.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So this is the grand auditorium, and we'll slowly, I'm going to take you all the way up there.
Okay. Let's make it happen. So that chandelier is nice.
Yeah. So that's where the photo you can tell here was lowered down to right at the mezzanine.
And you say it takes about
edge.
30 minutes to get it down?
15 to 30 minutes just for the cranking.
Wow.
Yes, so this carpet is renovated from our 2018 campaign, but like you said, the intention was to keep a lot of the same components and kind of classic feel of the theater the same.
Okay. Do y'all have like a huge repository of just materials, whether they're, advertisements and things like that?
Yeah, so we have a lot of movie posters much less the further back you go, but we do have a lot of archives of that.
Gotcha.
Mostly movie posters, since that's one of our longest programs. I'm actually going to take you to pee. The elevator is new. As of, I believe, the 90s, I want to say the elevator is new, around the 85th anniversary. So the theater was closed for a brief period of time in, I believe, the 70s, I want to say, and then brought back as a performing arts venue.
Was there a certain place after it was closed that people would go to? So was it temporarily displaced somewhere, or
maybe the Triad stage, because there was 3 main theaters and stages in downtown for like a solid 60, 80, almost 70 years likely. So here's some of our original seats from 1927. This is what I was referring to as our small curated history display that we show people on tours. Next year being our 100th, the hope is to honor and memorialize some more of these items as well as some other parts of the theater. But you can kind of see Charlie Chaplin was also an early production of the theater. You can see shown in 1928.
So when you think Carolina theater, and when people think about North Carolina, they might not necessarily automatically think Greensboro.
Yeah.
So you all were able to get the name Carolina Theater, and that's not in, because it's not a franchisement type thing, right? So it's not
so
you see what I'm saying?
People frequently ask us if the Carolina Theater of Durham or the Carolina Theater of Charlotte is our sister theaters. And technically, they are not our sister theaters. A lot of times, sister theaters have to do with the architect and the planning being intentional from the get. It's not that way for us. We were built a little bit staggered, but just similar names. I do consider us sisters somewhat because, like we were saying earlier, the history of theaters just popping up around the Carolinas during the same time frame isn't a coincidence. To some degree, we all had the same mission. And so in that, I consider us sisters because we're all trying to bring joy to people in different cities. The Carolina Theater of Durham just celebrated their 100th year this year as we celebrate 99 years. And the Carolina Theater of Charlotte, which was just fully renovated and brought back to life. Gorgeous theater. I believe they're celebrating 100 years next year with us.
Well, like you said, all around the same time.
The city used to own the theater for a long time. It is now a private nonprofit. So it was bought back from the city in, I could be very wrong about the dates, so I'm going to say the late 70s, 80s, but we can fact check that. But essentially it was bought back from the city to become a performing arts venue and is now independently run as a nonprofit with a board. So we have a board of 22 members that vary, some involved in the city, some involved in the county, some involved in nonprofits in all different fields, and they really support the theater. But we are looking for more support.
So y'all heard that, right? Looking for more support.
Looking for more support so this theater can be here for another 100 years. Trying to show you these fun ones. There we go. Foundation for the Future. And the whole point of the Foundation for the Future campaign that we're starting for the centennial is to be able to afford a maintenance man, not just now, but for the next 50 years. And that maintenance man would greatly improve, obviously, the standard that we can provide for patrons, but also they could just help us with the daily upkeep of the building.
Do you find yourself
all hands on deck?
Yeah, I was about to say, do you find yourself grabbing some wrenches and WD-40 and whatever else is needed, paint?
We have definitely had that. And luckily we have very dedicated staff who want to see this theater be here for the next 50 to 100 years. But we also need support from the community. It takes a whole tribe in order to have success with something this big.
This is true. Nice. And so obviously there's multiple different stages that are here that are utilized. And so with this one right here, what is this room typically utilized for?
So right now we have a couple of concerts this summer going on up here. We also just started a free piano bar karaoke night up here. We have a new Queen's Crown drag show and dance party program that we're starting in August that'll be up here. So it's a mixture of intimate live music concerts, and some smaller comedy shows, and then community events. So we're trying to expand some of our community events up here just to offer another third space for people in Greensboro.
Are you finding that there are more emerging entities in the world of art and theater that are needing that type of space here in Greensboro? I mean, obviously it's a college town.
Yes, but I would say that that's something that I've noticed is growing a lot in Greensboro as well, is third spaces and places for emerging artists and independent artists. So I think that we're a part of that community and trying to be even more so a vital role in that, in offering third spaces for artists. But I do think it's something I see happening more with other venues and coffee shops and bookstores, and not even necessarily live music venues in the area, but just literally just different types of businesses that are trying to offer a third space for artists. So yeah, we're trying to also be a part of that wave and connect with people in the community that are trying to do that as well, so that they can, grow the talent base here.
Beautiful.
So this whole floor, earlier, whenever we were coming up from the what was the segregated entrance, right? That comes in on this side,
this door,
right here. So this was at one point the segregated concessions area, bathrooms, and everything. So I'm going to show you then from here where the segregated balcony was as well. This was all renovated in 2018 to make it this space. So it's pretty much one of the newest spaces in the theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got the disco ball. You also, if you got a little bit of disco fever up top,
That's one of my favorite
platform
things.
shoes on and fish.
All right. And now up to what was the segregated balcony.
Okay.
It now holds a lot of storage, as you can see, but right over here are some of the original seats. Still in place.
Okay, so those are the original seats for the segregated balcony. Now, did they mirror the ones that were down at the bottom, or were they completely different during the time period?
They were different during the time period. I believe there was not cushions, not an extra back cushion was one of the components.
Just completely wood. Do we know when Black folks were at least first able to even come into the theater?
Yes. Me and Brenda were just doing some research the other day actually about that and trying to find exact articles. So essentially there was protests that happened from A&T students came downtown and protested the front of multiple businesses, not just Carolina Theater, but the Carolina Theater was a part of that. Following that, then it called for attention to the mayor. So then the mayor had a letter that he sent out to multiple businesses around downtown, basically requesting that they desegregate. And so the Carolina Theater was the first of the theaters. So from my understanding, they had their first integrated night, allowed Black people into the theater, and then slowly said, we'll see how this goes, essentially. And then it went great, and they then opened their mind more to integration. But yeah, it did start initially with protest is very important. Yeah.
And I think that that's something that's very important, is that the students from A&T and other local colleges, it wasn't just Woolworth that the protest took place. Places like here, like the Carolina Theater, was also another place that, was involved in feeling the wrath of people who wanted to be treated like human beings. Yeah.
Understandably.
Yeah.
Very understandably, and the history changed from there.
So as it relates to history in general, what was it that tickled your fancy about it? Was it something that had to grow on you, or was it something that you were always just kind of interested in?
When I was growing up, my mom put me in the Daughters of the American Revolution. And so I grew up going to graveyards very frequently and being taught my family's genealogy. And that intrigued me, I think, from a young age to understand history and view history as simply people's stories. And I think that's a lost art now.
Yeah.
In many ways, is the context. Us assuming that everything that we see has no context.
Right.
You know, when really everything that we see has so much context that we'll
sure.
never even know. And so I think that fascination just started from a young age, and I see that in people too, and in buildings a lot, where I look at a building like this and I say, you know, if it's been here since 1927, it has a lot of untold history.
This is true.
And that just interests me, and people as well.
Yeah.
So we have the Carolina Kids Club in the summer, which is 5 different movies spread out on Wednesdays. With those, we reach a lot of daycares, schools, summer school programs. During the year, we have the opera comes through, ballets, and they bring in a lot of student groups and schools. Very frequently, they'll have like a matinee day that is just for school performances to be able to offer it for local students, which is really cool.
That's good.
Seeing kids' reactions to opera
I can only
the first
imagine.
time is really, really cool.
I can only imagine.
They're giggling and they're also just in awe all
Yeah.
at the same time.
You're getting them involved early though, right?
Yeah.
Which is important. Groundbreaking, you know, folks that came through this theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give us some
I
folks.
could not give you the list quite as well as David, our production head. He has been here for almost 20 years. Brenda similarly. But when I first got here in February, we had Bernie Sanders come a week later. And since then, we've had several well-known comedians come through here, but they could give you some just incredible names. Branford Marsalis and Diane Reeves have been here twice before, well-known jazz artists who have won multiple Grammys. Diane Reeves has won 5 Grammys, and we just announced that we'll be bringing them back actually for the Carolina Theater Presents series this year. So we're excited to kick off our centennial next year. We'll have them on April 5th.
Okay.
So bringing back some of the most well-known artists that have been through here, but the list goes just
on.
every time I talk to somebody, they tell me a new name, and I'm like, had no idea.
Yeah.
Had no idea. Many of the artists who are on the Magnolia House wall as well have been through here, and we're constantly trying to find more and more records as well of all the productions that have come through here. Right now, we have over 320 a year. So that's been consistent for at least the last 5 years.
320.
320. So
It's 365 days out the year.
only
right?
so many days in the year. That's
Yeah,
right.
Y'all are humping.
But it wasn't quite as busy when the in the opening, but there have been several hundred productions every year since opening. So I can only imagine the more that we'll find as we continue digging up.
Most definitely. I love that.
And whenever I talk to people about the theater nowadays, it seems like not many people have been recently from the community, but they can always tell me at least 1 or 2 artists that they've seen here.
Yeah.
And the experience has always stuck with them too, which is really cool to hear from people when you say the Carolina Theater and they're like, oh, I remember being there.
I love the exit sign.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
throughout. All
Yeah.
throughout is, original stained glass exit signs.
Yeah.
It's the cutest little details. And that's a part of what makes the maintenance so important of the building too, is things like that,
Yeah.
and some of the architectural details around trying to maintain those, because craftsmanship is not the same way
This is true.
anymore. They don't
This
build
is true.
buildings like this anymore.
No. And I see that you all are doing a lot of cross-programming with people in the community.
Yes.
Has that
always been a staple, or is that something over the past decade or so has been even more intentional just because of the power of collaboration?
Yeah, I think that we have historically collaborated with other organizations in the area, but we're working to strengthen those more. So Folk Festival, for example, we've always had an affinity or relationship with Folk Festival, but this year we're able to actually be a part of the Folk Festival.
Okay.
And we're taking Ethno USA, which has traditionally been a part of the Folk Festival, and bringing it into the theater as a part of our Carolina Theater Presents series, so that people that are coming for the festival can also come by the theater as well and have a good reason to come in and see a production here. So yeah, we're trying to strengthen what those relationships look like in programming specifically now. So Magnolia House is also another part of that. If we already know we're doing centers and they're doing incredible brunches, then where's an opportunity for collaboration? Our concessions doesn't sell food. We just sell the best popcorn in the area. So yeah, might as well collaborate where there's opportunity. So imagine if you walked up and there was a ticket booth right here, essentially, and then inset were doors, just one level of doors, essentially. So yeah, the facade and entrance and many of the doorways have changed a good bit, as well as the box office location. So this wasn't always the box office as well.
And so we have some recognition, of course, by the National Register of Historic Places. By the United States Department of the Interior, June 17th, 1982. Sounds so long ago, but it's not. When you say 2026 and 1982, it sounds like it's light years apart. But,
and that was a year after the fire.
Was this the only building that was affected by the fire?
Yes. So, and this I don't know how true this is, but when I spoke with over at the print shop that's right here, I spoke with the lady one day. We were talking about redoing our employee parking signs on the side, and she told me that she was the one who saw the fire and called it in. And the way that she described it to me, and you can tell from this angle, she said that she was working early in the morning, looked out her window, and from the reflection of the windows saw fire and saw smoke coming up the stairwell, which was this back stairwell. So if you see what is now this glass stairwell is all new. Yeah, none of this was here until 82. And so the fire was relatively contained, and actually we're coming up on our fire anniversary because it was on July 1st, I believe, 1981. And so we're gonna share, just a commemoration of that and the firefighters who helped resolve it very quickly. But it could have been much worse and affected the integrity of the building, but thank goodness it didn't. Thank goodness it didn't reach the auditorium at all, and it being in the stairwell did somewhat contain it. But that is one of our biggest historical changes and moments for the theater. And a lot of people also remember that moment. Apparently it was a very big deal downtown.
And then there's some JFK, there's some, it is in the American tradition to stand up for one's rights, even if the new way to stand up for one's rights is to sit down. So this has been an amazing tour.
Thank you.
And I always like to ask individuals to express why it's important for individuals to come to whatever venue I'm at, right? Whether it's a historical site, whether it's a theater, or whether it's a restaurant, so forth and so on. So why is it important for you all to have attendees to come to the theater?
I think it's important to support a nonprofit venue because we have the opportunity to give back more than most other businesses do. And so what that looks like for us is, holiday events for the community, Christmas at the Carolina, affordable movie programming, offering discounted rates for arts programs for children, allowing a space for arts programs for children to perform in general. Being a 9-year-old ballerina, you have very limited performance options. in Greensboro, but being a place that's able to offer a stage for young women and boys to be able to perform and learn that there are jobs in the arts, learn that there are skills they can develop in the arts, I think is incredibly valuable. And then from an entertainment perspective, I think that it's really important for the community to support something like this, specifically because of the historical aspect. And that, like if you're going to see a comedy show, if you're going to see a concert somewhere, why don't you do it somewhere where your money is making a difference tenfold?
That's right.
More than just seeing the entertainment, then you're also keeping this building alive for another program. And you have influence in it as a part of the community. We're not a for-profit space. And so there's a lot of voice that people can have in the choices that we're making here and the productions that we have here. And I would love to see the community step up in that voice even more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why it matters to show up here.
Yeah, and we got to do it, y'all. We have to do it. And so this has been my very first theater episode.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, so this is a history before us first. I've never done a theater before, but I greatly appreciate everything. And like I tell you all, these are some of the hidden gems, whether it's in the state of North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina, Mississippi, wherever you may find me at, Florida, that we have to make sure that we come out to support, and that we pour our love and our time and our energy into, and more importantly, utilize our voice and our platforms to say that, hey, these spots are here, they do exist. So like I tell you all the time, if you like this type of content that may be somewhat underrepresented, please make sure to subscribe, share, and also consider becoming a member to the channel, because it helps with allowing me to travel to places like this and highlighting the work. So Shelby, I greatly appreciate you.
It's
and
so good
Brenda,
to have you.
Of course, I'm going to say what's up with her before we get out of here. This is greatly appreciated. Oh, your social media as well as website. Where can people go?
Carolina Theater, carolinatheatre.com, TRE.com, and then at Carolina Theater GSO is our Facebook and Instagram, as well as TikTok now.
Okay, you got to TikTok.
Yeah,
okay.
just recently in January.
Okay, that's what's up. And
yeah,
I'll put all this
there.
and I'll put all this stuff in the description. You also. Thank you all. Peace and blessings.
Yeah, thank you.